Let me try to. So get it technology.
This is what feels like to be in management. 90 minutes after I was hired, I already have to present the strategy for the next year, I guess.
Chop, chop, chop.
Yes, I would have appreciated a job interview so I can at least ask what you guys are doing. But
That's fine.
space.
If only we knew.
Oh, this is the wrong slide. Well, then I have to present it without a slide. Well, I understand you guys correctly. We are sort of integrating between online shops, online marketplaces like Amazon, etc., and offline shops. And the challenge is to get a coupon system running in there, right? We don't currently have that, but the system is making revenue. You said you have high-tier customers that have 10 to 15 million in revenue, GMV. So I understand the task correctly, not that we're solving the wrong problem here. Do I get agreement from you?
What happens if I say no? You will stop your presentation.
Guys, the wrong guy for the job. So, good. Now, with that, I don't really know what happened to the slides. Yeah, okay. So, we have a system that is, well, a little bit suboptimal. It seems to be a tightly coupled monolith legacy system. I don't even know if it's on one server or on many distributed monolithy things. We have a cycle time of 92 days, I read. We have, why is this here? This is not right.
Teamwork.
Yeah. This is not the right order. Okay.
Blame your team.
So, yeah, of course, always.
Business.
So, okay, we want to, first of all, our marketing team seems to have decided that our top-tier customers, high-tier customers, are the ones that are most important, and so we shall start with them.
Business strategy? Tell me the slide.
Yes, okay. I think that is good. We only had like very few minutes. They were literally that last minute. So they need to, the third-party customers need to be able to use the coupon discount, and they are large customers. So that makes me think they're not using WooCommerce. They're not using Shopify. They're using their own system. In 100% of the cases I've seen so far, that has always been the case. This tells me that we're not going to make a module for them because we don't even know in which language to write it, but we are creating an API for them. That's also what they'll be most comfortable with. And that would be our first step. The how we'll get to it. We, of course, have an API that they're already using, and we have to extend this API somehow. Now, coming back to the challenges mentioned earlier, 92 days cycle time. If I try to extend our current API, then I'm fairly certain that we'll end up within these 92 days, and you guys will be fairly certain, not very happy about this. Thank you very much. So, what's the plan then? We create an API next to the one that we already have. That API, yes, thank you, here. That we call the discount API, the one that we currently have, because we never named it. I called it standard API. They don't need to look very dissimilar, other than maybe this one is better documented and organized for our external clients to better integrate. But the main point is that when we use this discount service, which just needs the baskets interface from our monolith, I've already talked to the shop team, by the way. And from there, we also only need the get basket functionality so that we know the basket and whether we can apply that certain discount. And then the add coupon, which is a discount or add discount, to give it back. So these things need to be implemented into our monolith. This is a small change as far as the shop team told me. It goes into the basket. This is how we ensure that payments, well, the basket gets generated before the payments come, once the basket knows how much it costs because of this, the discounts, the payments is already taken care of. Everything downstream, order, delivery, and so on, is also being taken care of by hooking into here. That's why we're doing it like this. The discount service itself provides, well, first of all, an API interface. We can also throw in a user interface for people who want to come to a page or want to use that as an iframe. That's totally fine. I don't see it as the first thing to do, though, because I think for most of our enterprise customers, it's probably good enough. Maybe, I haven't decided yet, maybe we'll put that on top just to make integration even easier. Because what we need from the external systems or providers is just basically a CRUD operation for coupons, right? They need to define the coupon, tell our system, hey, this is the coupon. Our system then asks for every basket, hey, what are you basket, and does this particular coupon as it is defined apply? And then send back the discount. That's it. So far so clear what the solution is? Or do you have questions for that? Then we can go to some of the other slides I've never done. Risks that we have. Well, the integration with the rest of the platform is a risk, which we have mitigated by, well, the only things that we actually touch are already there. External integrations. We want to be we want to service WooCommerce, for example, in the future, Magento, Shopify, PrestaShop, and all the other shops that you might want. And this can be done in step 2. After we've validated our product with our top-tier customers who are the most invested in us anyway. And this can be done by external agencies, because I don't see us hiring somebody for each technology stack out there just to integrate something like this. If it can be done open source, which I hope we might. Yeah, the next risk is the overloaded me. And it's already started. And because I also have the checkout team. But the good thing about it is the checkout team also deals with the basket. So I have a little bit of synergy there. Lastly, time to market. Why does it say the slower the better? Now I blame my team, sorry.
Don't fix it, just
yeah, time to market is well, already taken care of by this being a greenfield project and therefore not having the constraints of the monolith. Last slide was down here, roadmap, but I've already said it. First, provide API for high-tier customers, iterate a little bit on more complex discounts, and then hire external agencies, maybe open source for these WooCommerce, etc. systems, which give us breadth, but not depth. Okay.
Where's the team? Where's your team?
just hired.
Where's the team?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to know who we can blame. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, yes, that's it. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll sit down there and enjoy the rest of the show. Sorry?
You thought you come off that easily.
No, I wasn't hoping that. But there's always a chance.
We're doing the feedback now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Alec, we're doing feedback now? Or?
Yeah, we're doing feedback now. We need a speech.
Approximately. How can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Go
It's
ahead.
okay.
I mean, from my side.
It's in 2 minutes.
Firstly, from my side, I think, firstly, well done. Right? I think it's an under pressure environment, trying to put some slides together as well. It's a bit of an extra challenge to things. I liked that you identified multiple challenges, not just picked out the one and solved that. So I think that was a good thing to come up with. And I also like the final bit you said about, okay, open source it as an option as well. I think where I could see, if I was given the feedback of you presenting this in front of the C-level, let's keep it short, sharp, and sweet. Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard about the pyramid principle, the way that you present the problem. So here's your core problem, and then you break it up. Of course, given the time constraints,
This is the problem.
hard to do that.
Exactly.
Right? So I think from my side, I would see that could be the next step to go to, is that you break it down in that way. Say, okay, here's your business problem, and you started with the challenges around it. Here's how I'm going to solve those, and here are the things that we're doing to solve each of those. Here's the risks associated with each of those. So just it's a bit more connected.
Of
And
course.
it gets to the point, because I think for CEO as well, whilst we've got the architecture diagram in there, I think that's fine, but to have that so early on in the discussion and not just maybe at the end, this is how we're going to do it, in detail.
Honestly, the slides, the order of it was not really defined, and you see me like, well,
With what would you have started? Which would let me take that back.
yes.
Which would be the slide that you wanted to start with?
The slide that is on here, that is describing the task that we have, namely about adding coupons to
Okay.
our system.
All right.
But that's it.
Thanks.
No.
More? You want to go? I go. So I agree. Good job for talking about all of these things, getting the risks there. I like that a lot because we don't talk often enough and long enough and clear enough about the risks. Also putting yourself out there like, oh, I'm also part of the risk because I'm overloaded. I like that because like people, who needs them?
Yes, right.
There's another way how I would have started, and it chimes a little bit what Tom said. When you're talking to managers, they normally don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And cut the chase, like explain exactly what you want to do. Talk about what you want to talk about. We're going to solve this. This is the roadmap. This is already like the milestones or something like this. Then explain all of the problems around it and then summarize it. That's also one way on how to do it. It's not the only way, but it already gives like a management summary at the very beginning, so that the CEO and the CTOs and whoever know, okay, this is what's coming. For me, the introduction of the problem was very technical.
Yeah.
I was putting myself in, like, I don't have no clue what a monolith is. Is that a problem? Is that a good thing? I know. People, it's not a bad thing. It's also not a good thing. Don't quote me on this. It's a thing, exactly. But it's not clear. So that from that perspective, giving your solution to the problem as a summary, then talking about how you're going to do it, what the risks are, and then summarizing it again, just by differently ordering it. And you said,
Yeah.
it's not the order that I wanted. I gave you the chance to give me the order that I wanted. You didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just one way on how to do it.
Also, I was explaining it not only to you, but also to this guy.
How do you know what you're thinking before you hear what you're saying?
Exactly.
I have one more thing.
Yes.
It's more like a style kind of thing.
Yes.
You asked us a question, and you
Yes.
gave us exactly 0.8 seconds to answer before you said, okay, let's continue. I was still thinking about, do I want to answer?
Yeah.
And I normally count up to 6.
I see.
And if you don't get anything by 6, then you can continue. Otherwise, you're just trampling over the people. I know it's not your intention.
Otherwise, I will not wait. I know. If I don't do something while waiting,
It's an artificial environment. Come on, let's face it. It's. But many people are listening. Count to 6 when you're asking a question. Maybe you will get an answer at the 6, not at the 3.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
And then keep counting.
Just wait until they talk.
No,
Sit there in silence until they talk.
waiting.
So all the good things already there. To keep in mind on any presentation, first you have to think about like, who's your audience. As said, like very tight technique. If you have a CEO that is not technical, half the thing is lost. Number 2, you showed the risks in terms of what the risk is, but not what the business impact is. So from a business perspective, I would rather hear what the business impact of that risk is and have less than here are the risks. Yeah, what should I do with it? Can I mitigate it? Something. So I'm lost at that point as leadership because I don't know how will that affect my business. In a company of 60 something, your CEO probably knows all this. In a company of like 500, no clue.
Yeah.
So, and this is, when you write a slide thing like that, first audience, second, what are the three things they should get? And then everything in that slide has to point to one of these things. Everything that is not pointing to these three things, forget it. They will never come across.
Okay.
Because it's extra noise that will actually get the people distracted from the three things that you want to kind of like present and get them to know.
Like sharing. And there's one detail. Oh, let's talk about the model. You didn't want to talk
like
about
this
the model.
subline in 2 point. This will cost me. Yeah. Okay. So the risk in terms is fine. You examine, but like the business impact of it is far more important.
Yeah, sounds good.
I have a question. Yeah, as the tech guy for the business.
It is a business presentation. He should make the case to kind of like invest the money. So you have to think about like who you're talking to. You want money. You want money. You have to talk money.
Technology doesn't operate outside of the business. It's a means to an end. We are here to make the business work. If we can't explain why, it's like, trust me, I'm not Scotty from the enterprise.
I think this is also the difference in level where we are. Like, are you a team lead that's just dealing with your stuff and you have no idea what the people who work for you maybe cost and like what other things are going on in the business? Here we're presenting to the director of engineering. So learning about that is one of the things that's important.
Invested to the board. If it was this director of engineering, I would say that's fine, because he's a technical guy. That's a technical thing. But the case was to be presenting to the board, and then the board can have people that have no clue about this, so you have to map it to business.
Yeah. And it's something we talked about last time in the Kata as well, is that nobody looked at the money. Like there was money on the sheet, nobody talked about money at all in any of the presentations. And this is something we, as engineering leaders, have to learn about, talking about the money, because that's what the business cares about. They don't care whether it's Java or where the API sits, or like if it's adjacent or REST, or like nobody gives a flying concern. Sorry, I really feel big for language.
Yeah. The question was that you asked, as a CEO, you asked the tech person, the engineering manager for the business.
Yeah, this is very important. So first of all, thank you, team number 13. Quick question.
So with these APIs, right? Now the question that I have is, if I hadn't shown you this, wouldn't the first question be like, okay, our cycle time at the moment is 92 days. Why do you think it would be faster?
No.
Or would it just be, oh, I trust you on this?
Well, that's your job, right? I mean, if you're forcing me to go this deep, then basically I'm doing your job because I'm challenging you on
So
this.
you do trust me on this without even seeing how this is possible?
In the board meeting is a different thing than in a one-on-one meeting.
And one thing at the last, you didn't give a timeline. That's in a board meeting. I would ask you for like, how long will this take? How much money will that cost? Because that's the cost factor, and you didn't have that. So that information kind of like at the end, made something up in terms of the presentation of that.
Yeah.
But in a board meeting, what I want to know is how much money is on the table, how long will I have to wait till I have it?
That makes sense.
So just those two things, not the details, like this will take this long, this, no, I want to have this full functionality, how much will it cost? It will take me 3 weeks, something.
I mean, just to interject on my side, it's like, I would expect you just to give a couple of keywords. We're going to simplify the interface. We're going to deliver a lean version as the first version. Right? Just it doesn't need to be a diagram, doesn't need to be really detailed.
But that's just buzzwords, isn't that wasting your time?
That's enough. That's what. That's what.
Nice bullshit people.
Thank you.
Just coming back on the question.
Okay.
It's one of the things that I see in a lot of companies where the clash from engineering and the business comes from is that we as engineers don't talk business. We talk tech, and we always come to the people and talk tech, and then they sit there and say, I don't understand a thing, I can work with him. So we have to start to understand this, not as difficult as it seems, and to translate what we want to do into numbers and business and opportunities so that they understand. That's why I said, the audience is the key for your presentation. Is like, who am I talking to? Am I transferring what I want into their world?
And just to comment on this, some of you have been on the previous Kata, some of you here first time. And we do our best to put some clues in the text. And we this time even gave you kind of guideline, because definitely the situation, you are engineering manager, so you speak from that. And then your head of engineering gave you this task to establish a new team for the specific business direction. Our tech team always, but then you present this because you're getting funding for this new team, and you're getting a roadmap that you're in charge of implementing later, and then definitely get the trust. So that's important what we hear. So as the first, the comments were mostly about the way to present this, right? So even if you don't show the technical diagram, actually it's okay. It was part of the challenge for the team to discuss the technical diagram. But when you come to the presentation, you need to be to the point. Executive summary as one of ideas, just like if you don't remember, like if they got distracted for the form or something, that's what you need to remember. Roadmaps, language, speaking with numbers, all of this was the first feedback. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for the team. And we have the next one.
Did you all change now your slides?
Yeah.
You had enough time.
At this point, I don't start presentation. So in the background, the team will still arrange the slides and they will show in the proper segment. But okay, the presentation.
Before I start, I want to say that our team we only had software engineers, so it would be tough, and it was tough for us. It was a challenge, and we might have like problems that the previous team have, but yeah, we will try.
Maybe you will pretend you're a director of engineering.
Never start with an excuse.
I said before I start, I kind of wanted to say it, but yeah, I understand. I already felt, but yeah, let's go. Yeah, next slide, please. And we only have one slide, so just
Okay.
Ta-da. So first, I think we need to outline what the current problems are, and the main pain points for the team and for the company is that there is an integration process that is really lengthy with other external providers, and it takes sometimes 90 days to integrate for one provider, but we want to reduce this time to 20, I believe it was 21 days. And the reason for that is that our architecture and our platform is really highly coupled, so components are coupled together. But yeah, and first we thought that in order to not like deliver what might not be there in the final
result, we want to build like two POCs, like proof of concepts. First is to show that we are able to build an API and to have an API that would be our customers would be able to use to integrate with our system. And second one is to have a POC for integration with external providers. And once we deliver those, we can show that it's working, and then we can build the full scale project. And so after POCs, we think we should create the promotion service, because as you know, we want to have promotions being able to define in our system, so customers would use what we allow them to configure, and we would create this service for them, and we would expose via API so they can easily integrate with that. And we will also present a demo on that, show that it's working, that customers are able to do that. And the fourth point is to finally integrate with the external promotion providers via the same API. So it would be only one like point of communication with all the like mobile or like IT infrastructure our customers have.
And that way they don't need to think what they call underneath. They just call our API, and it would be designed in a sort of like source agnostic way. So it would be flexible, configurable, and they would be able to integrate with our system through that. And regarding team and budget, we think that it would take 3 engineers in total to maintain and to build the system from scratch. I mean, the parts that the promotion serves, the API, in all the integrations, and 1 PM manager, so 4 people in total. And we wrote about the budget, so it would be 500K per year. But regarding timelines, we didn't discuss that with my team, but let's say it would be 2 months to build the POC, both of them, and then 4 months to build the rest of the system, to have sort of MVP, to show it, to release it, and then we can move further. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. Questions?
Oh, that's all right. So I like how you do the POC on that, but you're not trying to solve the complete problem in one go, but you're doing it partially. You said, I think you said 2 months and then 4 people.
Yeah.
What would be your answer if I say to you, like the idea, but I want it in 2 weeks? What can you come up with in 2 weeks? Would you be able to give me an answer to that? How would you deliver a POC in 2 weeks?
We can just don't have a real behavior. We can just have a design in place and just show you, integrate with, let's say, existing customer, show you the full flow that is working, and we are able to move further. So probably, yeah, under heavy deadlines, maybe, but yeah, I would ask maybe more, maybe a month, but okay, 2 months.
So it's just as an example to get you thinking from a business side, right? Is the come to the table as the next step, right? Come to the table with an option. Hey, I think we can do this a bit quicker. We can be a bit aggressive on this. Because for me, 500K, it's a lot of money for headcount to do this, and I don't even know if the idea is one that's going to actually make us money at the end of the day, right? So just to think when you treat such problems and go in with it, just think, okay, how can I do this in half the time? What would be an option to do that? How can I do it half of that time? So what of the time? Right? Just come up and really stress test. Are you really going in with a lean idea?
One question. So, one hint, I wouldn't put the 500K per year because you're not working on it fully for a year. So this is a big number that is not actually reflecting the cost of the implementation. It's the maintenance. Oh, sorry. So I wouldn't put the 500K on the sheet because it's the yearly budget for the people. It's not the budget for the project itself. So till the implementation is done, it doesn't cost 500K. It costs 500K maintenance. But that's a different thing. There you make money. So first, what is the initial cost of building it? And one question, if you said the POC takes 2 months and the second POC also 2 months?
No, I said both of them.
Both of them. Okay. So how long would it take to completely get it?
6 months in total.
6 months in total.
Yeah.
We had the problem that we couldn't get things done in 91 days at a time. So this one takes longer.
No, not 90. It's a result 90 days. It's not that it would take 6 months for clients to integrate. It's that we build a solution that would allow clients to integrate in 21 days. It's not that.
Okay. Yeah. Now I get it.
It's not that we integrate and we are building the full.
Okay, that I didn't get because it was calculating. Okay, every step takes 2 months, then it takes longer than the usual integration.
No. It's to build a solution that would
good.
Enable
speed up.
Now I get it. Okay.
Customers to integrate in this time. 21 days.
Okay. Good, understood. Just for me, the 500K thing was
it does not mean that it would take here. I wrote it because just as approximation.
You get it. I see a slide where this costs 500K.
Yes, I understand.
No, it's I'm board member. I see exactly the slide. I see it costs 5. There's a number there with a euro sign. I take that in my head and say okay, 500K for a coupon system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Golden.
Expensive.
First of all, kudos for having one slide only. You don't usually get that. Still, 50% of the slide is a technical thingy. Second, kudos for your approach. I really like the approach of doing a proof of concept. Unfortunately, you didn't sell me this. I think you're onto really something nice and something where you can also get the CFO and the CEO or the director, whoever, because you are talking about experiments, you're talking about step increments and investing a little bit of money and then a little bit more money. But I don't see it. I get it because I know it, because I like doing it, and you were talking about it, but it's not on the slide and it's not as like in your face. Like a little bit like what my two colleagues here said. When you're talking about money, make sure like, okay, you have the milestone there. How much will the milestone cost us? How long will it take? And you made it up while you were talking because you noticed how it's missing. Good one. Like having something which really describes, this is the problem. This is the first increment, second increment, and we will invest here. Then we can make another decision. We are managers, we like making decisions. So we will come back, we will see how much progress you're making, then we take the next decision gate, next decision gate, and you have your incremental, agile, whatever you want to call it, thing where you can build and build and build. And now you know what it will cost, what I will get, and I can at any time stop it. That's the perfect situation for me.
Okay.
That's what I feel that you wanted to do, but it's not what I saw on the slide and what I heard from you.
Yeah, I agree that pictures, like one picture is worth like 1,000 words. So yeah, it should have been on the...
Well, in this case, I think also 2 or 3 slides would have been okay.
Okay.
Going for one slide is like going from one extreme to the other extreme. You could have also distributed this on 2 slides easily. It's
Okay.
It's fine. Anything else?
What I would like about this presentation is that, like, if you grab smart engineers together, a nice smart jury as well, experienced jury, you can learn a lot. Like in your small group, you can learn a lot by getting the feedback. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nikita. Let's invite the group number 11.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, thank you.
Where's the bomb? Don't worry, it's just our windows. It's our windows. Don't worry.
Okay, where's the rest? So we have the 5 original slides that were prepared. We're using those. Who's starting?
Everyone is on the front. Everyone gets a slide.
There's 5 people. So even there's seconds that we have to present.
We need a bigger group.
That's a second. Good one.
Can I get the security guys in? I feel
So, straight from numbers. Not just the biscuit. Hello.
This dog costs about 30,000 euros.
I'm sorry. I think I have to open the windows, otherwise it doesn't stop.
Is this the camera outside or
Rockets are
It's just the air is getting too thick. I wonder why.
What repeat?
Just speak louder than the beeping. You can do it. All right. It will stop in a second.
always the same.
Louder than the beep.
What's the advantage?
So there's a lot of text on the slides. Kudos for the previous team for the amazing slide. It definitely didn't make our slides that amazing. But anyway, so looking at the current setup, we have a slowly moving system that is written with all the integration problems, and we need to build promotions and somehow integrate them with the system. So for this, with a little more. Sure. So for this, we decided to, of course, build a POC and to make sure our POC is as small as possible and maybe even a throwaway. We decided to ask the sales team who came up with the promotion need to give us the most simple and the most demanded promotions so we can build those. This could probably be done in a very short period of time. We built those as a very simple service that will be integrated with our checkout and get all the info it needs from there. What's the other thing? Sorry. Yeah, so that's the checkout team. And then we'll be figuring out more complicated things later. That should also help us with our time-consuming integrations. The existing integrations should work with what we're going to build because we're going to inject it in the current system. Additionally, we might also focus or we will definitely focus on customers that don't use many integrations of their own, so this thing could benefit as much those customers that don't need much integration. And then immediately we identify the risk of this AM. It's a risk, but it's also an asset. So as an AM, you have a lot of context, and you can also maybe identify people in the checkout team to see if you can either borrow them or at least get the knowledge from them, and you yourself have a lot of context. But since it's also a risk, I don't remember if someone else is going to talk about this further down the line. I think someone else is going to mention that, how we're going to deal with this risk, but we do have a slide for that, for sure. If not, I'll go back and talk about it.
Okay, thank you. And the principles, how we'll guide this implementation. So first of all, during the analysis phase, we would like to focus on what is the most important, impactful and important for business, like from revenue perspective. And this we identify as our key priority. Second principle that we would like to release as fast as possible, like the small chunks, and with the experiments in mind, so to be able to quickly adapt and to see what is like, to get feedback from our business users and our customers and both tech teams as well. So we'll prioritize the most impactful promotion, so type of promotion that we identified, like with the analysts, like on the diagnosis phase. The first principle is more about like technical kind of limitations and kind of from business perspective that we don't want to implement anything specific to customers. So we will focus on something that will kind of bring the value to all of the customers, and after identifying such features, we will focus exactly on that as a first stage for now. And for later, we will build the rule engine that will be like specific for customer business context, business needs. Like example, on the first case, like 10% discounts. And example on the second case, line number 5, is like something specific to the rules, like what is top segment for customers, what type of products do we want, what is like type of the year, like sales, Christmas market, Black Friday, etc. And simplify API as much as possible, like to provide like service through SDK documentation. This is our guiding principles. Next slide.
Yeah, for here the message is really simple. Basically, we only want to have one API. So if we have different channels, we want to have that all of the channels use a single API. And here, basically, we have like 2 variations. We have like people that is using fully our platform, like all of our modules. This is the first variation. We are going to focus on them. And the other variation is that people is customers that are using some of our modules and modules that are externally for us. Yeah. And for that, for example, this is important that we are going to rely in some parts that are already existing. For example, some things have already some integration that we want to reuse, like for example, for authentication and other non-functional things. And it's important that also we want to enable our back office team using the API, maybe with another layer to receive these offers in that way. So basically, this is the method that we want that we get from architecture. It's not complicated.
Okay. So yeah, roadmap. So it's a bit highly dependent, and also as we saw, we have a checkout team. So if there is some capacity and maybe also desire from some engineers to join the new venture, and business allows that, we could try. But it's really depends. So if we need to get new people, it will take a bit of time. So it may roughly we see now that Q1 2025 we can build the most critical field promotions fast. So maybe some throwaway, but it will give us the momentum that we see, okay, that is actually can be invested more into all these 10 that were mentioned by sales, but we see that still something can be prioritized. So then, so in Q1 2025, we use the platform, we will use the promotion service internally, and so we do food in as much as possible. So using it internally, using internal services. So later we see if things go well, we create more types of promotions and more customization there. We can actually start supporting external customers. And so that's also our team then will scale. So let's say we start with 1-2 people, and then we see that it actually works well, so we can increase the capacity of the team, but that will be for the next slide. But generally then we see that in Q2 we can already start designing and building more complex rule engine, more complex features as we go forward.
All right, lucky last. So resourcing stuff. We're going to have to hire people somewhere. It might be possible to move people internally from other teams if there's capacity. If not, the company has money. They've said that in the documentation. We can get an agency, we can get somebody in to actually build some of this stuff for us fast, or buy something, as one of the other teams said, buy a product that does this. Obviously that adds risk. We have to mitigate that if we're using somebody external to control what they're on about. As far as the budget goes, we think 2 senior devs is going to be enough initially. More, if we're going to build a full-on rules engine with all this customization that's talked about and all of this special stuff. Personally, I don't believe that all of the special rules that people want to build are actually special, but that's a different level of conversation. So, and we would hire into the checkout team, which I'm also managing, and move people across. So we're moving the institutional knowledge into the other team. So people who have the domain knowledge, checkout, promotions, discounts, this goes very closely together. We need somebody doing QA and documentation explicitly for the external users, because the big problem right now is getting external companies to integrate. So we need somebody focusing on that, and we need somebody in the PMPO business analyst space to help us. What are those 3 most important promotions? Is it just percentage discounts? Is it buy one, get one? Is it like, what are people actually asking for? And are these sensible and are these the same? And especially if we're going to build a rules engine, having somebody to work out what are the right rules and how to go about it. And that's us.
So number one of the last slide, I really love that you tap into your the capabilities of having another team that you could use the knowledge from, that you're not trying to build something from scratch. Because like that team, you would have to onboard hard on how all your system work.
Yeah.
Like really, this would be stretch you as an engineering manager even more, because you would have to tell them everything. So this kind of like, let's take someone from here that already knows that, is actually a very good point, which also kind of like me and leadership would explain to me that we're like not going into, oh, okay, this will take like ages. Still, your timeline was like right now. In terms of like Q1, Q2, there's like finally Q3, that's 6 months, something for a Q10 system. Again, like explain to me why we didn't build it by ourselves, not just integrating while it's there and leave the first step up.
But this was like, and if we actually done a proper timeline, in Q1, you get 3 fully working promotional things. It works for everybody who wants to use it. They can all use it already in Q1.
The Q2 set in dog breeding only. Dog feeding.
What we mean is people can't bring their own external promotional engine. So after this is like supporting external customers is them. Some external Shopify has a promotions engine.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with that level of pain early.
Okay.
That's later. So yeah, it's like making slides in 5 minutes or less is tricky business.
Yeah, I can only go with
Yeah, I understand, but that's what I'm explaining.
I would never write on a board level, knowing this can be thrown away.
Yeah. None of this was intended as real slides. This is not. But yeah, of course.
I really love that you saw the connections between different departments. That there is like that you're not on a green field without any like dependencies to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really try to get them on board right from the start.
Thank you.
Thank you. I go next? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. No, it's oh, wow, because like, how to phrase it? I've been in a situation like this where I had to present something and I wanted to be super, super prepared. And I think you are super, super prepared. Who of you is playing Dungeons and Dragons? Does anyone know Dungeons and Dragons?
No, never.
Never? Do you know what a wall of flame is, or fire is, or a wall of stone is or something? I saw a wall of text. There was way too much detail in here. Me as a person that is presenting this, I want to know all of these things. I want to be prepared when these questions come up. I'm prepared. But presenting this to a C-level or even a director level, this is giving you a lot of possibilities where people can start having really detailed discussions about something that is currently not important. I would not do that. I would really not do that. I would really boil it down to what we also said in the prior to, like, what's the problem? What's the solution? What's the summary? What does it cost? What is the timeline? That's what I would do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't know all of these things. I think it's great that you put all of this effort in there because it shows that you are prepared. But like reading out a presentation to a C-level, they know how to read. They don't need this.
No, but
you need this.
This is effectively speakers' notes that we're showing. Like this is
like a script.
This is not the presentation, but we're also constrained by 80 or less minutes to get stuff done. So this was our note block, and it became the presentation because 80 minutes.
Then it makes more sense to me.
As one hint, if you really want to show that you did all the work, put it into the appendix. You send it anyway. If they want to read it, they can read it.
Yeah, and that's something that's really good to have the long form that you send with it. This would never normally go out like this on slides because I hate slides like this too. But we needed speaker notes. We needed to finish, and yeah.
Now this makes more sense to me.
Yeah. So pretend that there was like 3 bullet points on each slide, and you're accidentally seeing the speaker slides.
Okay. And one last question. Can you go to the where you said like you need 2 engineers?
Yep. Okay.
I'm missing the costs in total that we're having here, and I'm repeating things again. I think if you just look at 2 engineers, even I as a director of engineering would go like, 2 engineers, one gets sick, one is on vacation. What happens with the project? Oh no, we need extra QA, we need extra PM, we need some business people, etc. Now it makes sense. It means actually you need 5 or 6 people, and they have a cost to it. And I think you always be straightforward. We don't need to bullshit the leaders. Just say what you want, say what you need in order to be successful. Yeah, but it started like, we need 2 engineers.
Like this was also like end of the time frame, running out of time, and also this: will we put a project price on it, or will we put a people price on it? And like we had this before, putting the people price on it is bad because it's too expensive for the little bit you're getting. You might say after 3 months, those 3 promotions are enough. We're going to stop.
I don't want to roast you, which also means you don't have to defend yourself.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm
explaining
trying to give you feedback on what I'm missing or what I would do differently.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it, and I leave the good stuff not.
My thoughts are too dissimilar. So I like how it's very comprehensive. What you've done, so you obviously put a lot of thought into it. But I think it does come out to this point in the presentation, which you've explained where you're going from. So if I was then taking that to the next step, it would be, recap what are the problems you have. Delivery time, integration time. You want to offer this coupon capability? What's the quickest way we can deliver that for you? Right? Give you that capability so you can get in the market and have that feature there. And I think if you could base your slides around that positioning, option A, option B, do you want the full risk one, but very quick, but we have to do some cleanup work afterwards? Or is it you want to take a bit more time and a bit more robust solution? I think it's always good as well. My suggestion would be when you go into a board meeting, don't go with one thing. Always go in with 2 options and you can recommend, but always give some choice in there.
You want the product management sandwich. The first one is too small, the second one is too big, and the middle one.
I'd take the middle one.
Yeah, but it's just also you go in and it shows that you thought about, can we do it really aggressively? But here's actually the one we recommend because those things you're going to take risks on. I mean, you probably know this, right? If you have the time, you'd put that into it. So
that was kind of what we're aiming for with this like fast and then a rules engine. Like that was like we didn't have a middle meat in our sandwich, but that was kind of the variety that came to.
Conscious about the time.
One thing to add, I really like the dog fooding because it's another approach that you use in order to de-risk the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really sane approach.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This time we had 5 against 3, so I'm not really sure who wins. Just to wrap up, thank you for everyone for coming. We have a couple of announcements just for you to know, and then you're free to go.
Yeah.
Tim?
I've got already a clue which kind of workshop we need. Presentation skills. We will work on this. But before we go, one thing everyone should probably do for yourself, okay, maybe tomorrow morning, write it down, write your reflection. Some of you might want to reflect on how was it. You met new people, it was great experience. Some of you might notice it already, some hints that help you in your future job. And then, ideally, you publish it on LinkedIn. Ideally. If you've never done it before, it's really recommended in the modern world, just for yourself, but also, you see, we've got so many people because some of you say somebody published it somewhere, and then we attracted the whole crowd. So this is why we've been talking with Alex about the idea to invite external experts to help us to write on LinkedIn. Actually, we just need to learn ourselves, but also we invite you.
In addition to that, we saw it's a time when many people are looking for a job, so we saw who can be the best to learn how to promote yourself on LinkedIn and to be found by recruiters, if not the recruiters. So we asked our friends recruiters to run this workshop for us.
Yeah, so it's a small workshop. It will be focused on 2 main points. So one of them will be reflect on your profile. It's also important. How do you sound? How do you look like externally? And the second one is how to write something that we would like to share with the audience. So these 2 topics will be the main topics for this workshop. You have to report in your workbook. It's also important, so you can take the workbook. By the way, some of people collect them. I heard some of you have all of them. That's also interesting. Yeah, and one last thing, we already got questions. When is the next Kata? In a month. So it will be announced. You have a link. You have a privilege to register that before we announce it tomorrow. So tomorrow it will be public. Today you have the link. So if you have no plans,
and if you like what we are doing, we also would like to grow this. You see, we are experimenting with some microphones. They're not working so well, so we'd like to buy a battery for that. So there you can come always for free for this EM Paris. But if you want, there is another sponsorship ticket, which is also like the price of your dinner or lunch that you can buy to support what we are doing.
Yes, that's it. That's all. And the last part, please focus community. Thank you. And thank you, Marco and Jim, for inviting us.
Thanks.
Great. So we appreciate any kind of feedback. It helps us to improve. You can do it right now. You can do it later, but please do it. See you soon.
Do you think
quite soon? Thank you.
Let know when this is shut.
Thank you. Yeah. If everyone could take a